Good morning and welcome to the organizational meeting of the Sherburne County Board of Commissioners dated today, January 6th, 2026. It is 9 a.m. I would like to call this meeting to order. The first order of business is to stand as you are able for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second order of business for today is to approve the regular meeting agenda as proposed. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Schumacher. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Today's second order of business is the election of the board chairperson for 2026. It is an annual position elected by the County Board of Commissioners. I will open the floor for nominations for chairperson for 2026 for the Sherburne County Board of Commissioners.
I nominate Rayanne Danielowski, District 2.
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close nominations. We will vote on the appointment of Rayanne Danielowski as the chairperson for the 2026 Sherburne County Board of Commissioners. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. The third order of business is the election of the vice chairperson for 2026, also an annual position. Do I have any nominations?
I'll nominate Commissioner Hults.
I second it.
Motion is made and seconded by Commissioner Felber and Commissioner Schumacher for Commissioner Hulse to serve as vice chairperson for 2026. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close nominations and move to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Commissioner Andrew Hulse as vice chairperson for 2026 Sherburne County Board of Commissioners, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations, chairperson and vice chairperson. With that, I will turn the official gavel over to the 2026 chairperson, Commissioner Rayanne Danielowski.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for putting your confidence in my ability to take us through 2026. Looking forward to a very productive and prosperous year ahead and working with my colleagues here. So with that being said, we'll move on into at this time, our open forum. Is there anyone for open forum?
We have no one for open forum, Chair.
All right, thank you. I will close open forum. Moving on to our consent agenda, and do we have any additions? Or do you want to remove anything from the consent agenda for separate consideration? Seeing and hearing none, I will be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gray and a second by Commissioner Felber. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next item on the consent agenda, we have announcements and correspondence.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, members of the Commission. Just a couple of quick announcements. As you know, we will do the official board calendar later in today's meeting. But I did want to note we do have a request to place probably in early March a discussion on the changes in the DNR's rules for hunting. That is a somewhat unique situation. We haven't had it as a county purview before. There's been a lot of communication and correspondence about that. It is up to the board if you would choose to elect to have a public discussion. I wouldn't call it necessarily a public hearing. But given that there's a lot of folks who normally haven't communicated with the board, I'm looking for the board's opinion on maybe just as part of that discussion item to let the public know that there might be a chance for public input. You could do that as part of your meeting, or we could hold a separate meeting. So looking for a little board direction this morning on what your thoughts are.
Anybody have thoughts?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would prefer to do it as part of the meeting.
Okay?
Public input.
Anybody, any other thoughts?
Public record anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's not a required public hearing in the statutory sense, but it might be a, a good practice. It just means we have to schedule additional time, and we'll make sure folks know about that. Okay.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Second, just wanted to note, Brian and I will be communicating with you later this week about final plans for travel to Washington, D.C. for the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. And so we'll be getting hold of you individually for that, as well as a couple of other items. We are also still trying to schedule the tour of the MRF facility that Waste Management operates. I think is it a MRF or is it a waste transfer facility? I think it's a MRF, isn't it, Greg?
The one in Minneapolis?
No, the one closer here that they wanted us to go visit. I think it's a MRF, yeah. So I'll be looking for some calendar information for you on that as well. Then just a couple of notes. Obviously, we're watching the weather. Andrew's staff is out and doing great work here, but he is here if you have any questions for him. We can make a part of my presentation. Then just a couple other notes. We did receive the final report from the post-election review conducted by the League of Women Voters of Minnesota. If you do create your ad hoc elections review committee, I would suggest we invite them in for a detailed briefing, but at that same time, I would suggest they come in and brief the board generally. But their findings were that everything from the 2024 election were in full compliance. So nice to see a kind of an independent assessment of that. And then last but not least, just a note that the sheriff and I will be buying the first round of sodas or other libations when we get together, because very excited, about 99% sure that the congressional directed spending for the jail will pass, and we have $2.5 million in that federal correctional directed spending. So thank you, Congressman Emmer and his staff, as well as senators, for supporting that and getting it to very, very close to the finish line as of yesterday. So a little good news to start the year. That's it for correspondence. I will also put in your packet, actually, I'll make it available if you're interested. The executive summary, I believe, is in your packet from the Xcel Energy annual report from last year. If you want the full detailed report, I can send it out. It's a very nice read, but it's a long read. Other than that, we haven't seen a lot of really substantive correspondence. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Hulls.
just one thing to add for a future workshop, I think would probably be, is given the state of concern and issues that have been found with fraud in DHS, obviously that's affecting the availability of federal funds. I think it would be prudent for us to have a review on what the impact is and how we as a county are going to work through that. So I'd like to see that as an upcoming workshop.
Yeah, Don and the sheriff and I and Amanda are going to meet later this week and kind of review where things are at. We may be constrained a little bit on what we can present to the board because we are in correspondence and communication with both state and federal agencies, as I think are all counties, but we'll see what we can put together.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, yeah, we had,
Commissioner Felber?
we were already working on that this week. So we have staff working on making sure that everything is squared away.
All right, thank you for the update. Moving on to the next item is our regular agenda. So item number 7.1, we are going to receive an update on the Sand Dune State Forest from Bobby Gieseski.
All right, good morning, and thanks for the invite.
Good morning.
So I'm Bobby Gieseski. I'm the assistant supervisor for Little Falls area. I've been with the DNR for 17 years, spent 14 of it in Mora, and the last 3 I've been in my role out of the Onamia office. This is a picture of our staff. It was taken 2 summers ago, so a few things have changed in there, but that's about how many people we have when we're fully staffed. So Adam Hodge out of the Little Falls office is our new supervisor. He's been with us for about 4 months now. He came to us from the U.S. Forest Service in Idaho, but he's a Midwest guy and he wanted to get closer to family. I work out of Onamia, and then Tim Stye is our community forest management forester, and he is currently out of the Sauk Rapids office. And Adam's from Chicago, so he's a Bears fan. I'm from Wisconsin, I'm a Packers fan, and Tim's from the cities, so we have a nice, fun rivalry. There's a more recent picture of our current staff. We had an all-staff meeting at Breezy Point in late November. Our fire staff are not in that picture because after deer season, we were still in fire danger, so they had to stay back at the offices. But we have 17 to 18 full-time staff when we are full. So most of our staff is based out of the Little Falls office. It's a co-located office, which means there's other divisions that are also housed out of there. And we have 2 vacancies that are permanent staff that are posted and we hope to fill within a month or 2. And then 1 seasonal fire lead or a fire labor trades and equipment who would be our main dozer operator and person in charge of maintaining our equipment. Onamia staff, we have 4 and we're full. Onamia, or Mora also, that second private forest management forester is posted and hope to be filled soon. And Sauk Rapids, we only have the 1 staff member. That office was closed for several years, but that's also a co-located office where there's other divisions there. And our Zimmerman staff is full as well. Ross Meyer is our most senior level forester there. He's been there for about 8 years. And then Jake Wormerskirchen and Dallas Dickerson are our technicians. Jake is also the Hella Base coordinator for Cambridge, so when we're not in fire season, he does spend a lot of time in Grand Rapids, so he's not at the office too often. And then Ben Werflein is our seasonal fire lead. And our fire leads typically work about 3 to 4 months in the spring during fire season, and then they get laid off again for a couple months in the summer, and they come back for about 2 months in the fall to help with fires again. Some of our additional staff, none of these people are housed out of Sherburne County or in our area, but they all have a hand in what happens in Sherburne County in the Sand Dune State Forest. Erica Hoagland and Amanda Wise are our EWR staff, and Peter Borash is out of Sauk Rapids, but he is in charge of the wildlife land in the county. Parks and Trails, we have Tim Edgerton and Nikki Hegna. They're also out of Sauk Rapids, and they are in charge of the snowmobile trails, the Grant and Aid trails, horseback riding trails. And then Kenny Giannini is the park manager in the Sand Dunes, but he's housed out of Lake Maria State Park. And then we have Trent Siemens, our main CO, who covers most of the county, and then Matt Boyle also covers part of the north and west part of the county. So here's just a map of Little Falls area. It shows the 8 counties from Kanabec County to Todd down to Wright County that we cover. We also have some extended coverage area where we would go farther west and help with wildfires if the counties over there request our assistance. Here's a picture of our Zimmerman field station. It's the old Zimmerman Fire Hall that we acquired after they built and moved out of town a little bit. There's currently no signage, but as soon as the road construction is done in front of there, we will get a sign up to make it a little bit more obvious what it is. And here's a picture of our old Zimmerman field station, which is pretty much right across the road from our new station. And we've been trying to sell that. Our region managers and realty team are working on selling the property, and the last I heard was the city of Zimmerman is probably going to end up buying it. So here's a picture of the Sand Dunes State Forest from our website. It's 3 miles west of Zimmerman, 5 miles north of Big Lake. It's a little over 11,000 acres. And that 11,000 acres includes the 225-acre Bob Dunn recreation area. Very popular mainly in the summer units, especially the day use area and the horse campground. But the horse camp is also, and the campground is also very popular. And just list of some of the things that we see out there quite often. Just a picture of Sherburne County, and it shows where the sand dunes is in relation to the county. And all the orange outlined areas are our wildlife management areas. So timber management, the Sand Dune State Forest is a working forest designed to provide revenue to the state for timber management, and also provides work opportunities for our timber industry partners, which is the 4th largest industry in the state. So the green highlighted stands are on our planned exam list that we get every year. So that was actually looked at. Our fiscal year starts July 1 and ends on June 30th. So the foresters and technicians in the Zimmerman Station went out and looked at those stands and determined if they could make a timber sale, and then they would set up the timber sale, and a couple of these stands were offered at our September oral auction that we hold in Onamia every year. So there was 9 stands for 224 acres. 58 acres were planned for thinning and 166 for clear cuts with reserves. Here's an example of one of our timber sale maps. It is kind of an active timber sale. A lot of our harvesting happens in the springtime during breakup. The sandy soil down here just allows for the loggers to operate, when most other places in our area, the soil is too wet and would cause too much damage. So cutting block 2 and 3 were thinned last spring, and then cutting block 1 on the bottom is going to be clear cut probably this coming spring. But for this sale, there was 804 cords, and they bid it up to $49 a cord, so it brought in $39,600 revenue for the state. And the blue-green just shows where that timber sale is within the Sand Dune State Forest. Some of the other activities we do are bud capping. We hire crews to go out and staple a little piece of paper on the top of the pine to protect the seedlings from deer depredation. And on the right-hand side, you can see the brown vegetation that was treated with an herbicide to kill the competition. And then that piece of equipment is called a disc trench, and it creates a little ditch where we can plant our pine seedlings, and it provides it removes the competition and then lowers it into the soil further so that they can get more water. Gives our seedlings more chance to survive. This was a 16-acre site that was clear cut with some reserves, and it was replanted into red pine. So it was treated chemically with a drone. This was the first site on forestry land in the state that was treated with herbicide with a drone. Unfortunately, it did not work very well because we left some residual out there, so it was tough for the drone operator to fly around the standing trees. And then the chemical just hit the top of the brush, and it just killed the tops, and it didn't kill the bottom, so we had to go out and retreat it again. But it was retreated, and it was planted, and it's now a 1-year-old pine plantation again. So we have 4.5 miles of system roads in the state forest, and they're called system roads because they're designed so that anybody can take their car, no matter what kind of highway licensed vehicle they have, on those roads, and they are maintained with gas tax money. So we try to do 6 gradings per year to keep the road smooth, and currently Black's Excavating out of Mora has the contract where they charge $2,000 per grading. In the summertime, we try to do a road shoulder mowing. That vegetation grows up and it makes the road feel really small, but just by doing that first 6 to 8 feet of brush mowing, it makes it feel a lot wider again. And then there's a proposal to do some spot graveling on the North Branch turnaround. It's a dead-end road, and all the sand has pushed through, and there's very little gravel there yet. And then the day use road, it's a very popular road, has been in pretty rough shape for the last several years. That is controlled by Parks and Trails, and funding has been extremely limited for them, but with the Get Out More funds that was offered for the state projects, designed mainly for working together. DNR Forestry does use that road a lot for timber harvest too when we need to. So that road is in the process of being upgraded and will be done in the spring when they just put the rest of the new Class 5 on, but it has been reshaped and just about done. So some information about where to find what stands could be harvested, which stands are going to be looked at the next couple of years. You just Google the Forest Resources Planning for Minnesota, and there'll be maps like it shows there that shows which stands will be looked at and potentially candidates for some timber management. So wildfires in the county, there was 36 that we had in calendar year 25, and that accounted for 22.5% of the Little Falls area fires, but only 15.5 acres, which was 0.5 of the total acres. And that's a testament to the local fire departments down in this county. It's a lot of fire departments close by, and their response is excellent, so they keep the fires small, which is very key, and high population, so everybody's got a cell phone now, so as soon as one occurs, somebody's calling it in. So one opportunity for Sherburne County with the sandy soil and a lot of the fire-dependent vegetation that we have in the county, some of these wildfires could get very big, especially in the sand dunes where we have a lot of pine plantations. The Community Wildfire Protection Plan, or CWPP, program administered by the Department of Forestry or U.S. Forest Service in partnership with the Minnesota DNR and other states throughout the country. Pine County is the closest county that has a CWPP, and then there's, I think, 6 or 7 other counties in the northern part of the state that also have these plans, but money is flush there, and the whole goal is to help communities at risk of wildfires. It creates fire-adapted communities. It shows landowners information on how to protect their homes from wildfires, such as keeping vegetation mowed, not planting flammable plants right next to your house, or stacking wood piles next to your house. And it also helps improve wildfire response from our emergency responders. School forests and outreach. Clearwater Elementary is the only school in the county that has a school forest. It's 54 acres, and the DNR provided a woodland stewardship plan free of charge. There's plenty of cost share funding available exclusively for school forests. So if the manager of the forest or the teacher who primarily works with the school forest can apply for cost share dollars to do improvements such as removing buckthorn, or the DNR will also help with timber sales, set up timber sales and administer timber sales on school forests. And there's lots of opportunities for kids to get out, get kids outdoors. It's a website operated by Laura Duffy. Her name is on the handout I gave the commissioners, and there's a lot of opportunities. And then some of the other outreach things that we have participated in is the county fair. We don't do that every year, but there's some years that we will get a booth and provide information to the public. Big Lake and Baldwin Fire Department open houses were attended last year by our staff. Elk River students have job shadowed. I think it was mainly with the conservation officer, but DNR Forestry and the other divisions are open to that as well. And then Arbor Day school celebrations, where we'll have a forester technician go to the school and give a little presentation about what Arbor Day is, and then demonstrate how to plant trees. And then the kids can take one seedling from our nursery home to plant at their house. Our CFM, or Community Forest Management, currently Tim Stye is our guy. Tony Miller did it for years for our area, and he retired in April. But the demand for community forest management and private forest management is so high that we are going to have 2 full-time positions in our area. They work with private landowners, formulate, advise, and assist with resource management activities on private land, incentive programs, cost share for projects that they would like to do, whether it's building a road through their property or controlling invasive species. And then our tax programs, SFIA, Sustainable Forestry Initiative Act, and the 2C Managed Forest Tax Law. And the landowners would have to have a woodland stewardship plan, which most of the time we contract that out with certified plan writers that are not state employees, private foresters that are certified, and most of the time the landowners will work with them. And then urban and community forest management, working with communities to help manage their trees. A lot of times there'll be sick trees along the boulevard in our communities, and we'll send staff out to go look at that. More outreach and school forest stuff too. So the Uncas Dunes Scientific and Natural Area, it's part of the Sand Dune State Forest that is managed by our EWR staff. Kind of a unique area. It's managed for threatened and endangered species, and it's a natural area, but they do a lot of management on there, including burning. They have those 2 sites in the red. They were attempted to burn 2 years ago, and the conditions weren't right. The fire didn't do its job. They needed to be warmer, windier, drier. They tried it again this year, and it again didn't work, so they'll probably try it again this year. And our DNR wildlife roving crew does a lot of prescribed burns, and they were the ones that attempted it, and they will probably attempt it again this coming spring. Some of the issues we face a lot, litter and dumping and abandoned property is constant out in the Sand Dune State Forest. Vandalism, people spray painting and shooting our signs and damaging our gates. Motorized travel in the closed forest, people going on joyrides through the forest with ATVs or dirt bikes, and escape fires happens, and then dispersed camping time limits. So most of the year they're allowed to camp in one spot for 3 weeks, and then during the other parts it's only 2 weeks, and people push those limits all the time. So some of our actions we try to replace signs as often as we can, increase the present, especially throughout the snow-free season. The conservation officer could spend his entire career in the sand dunes and not run out of work. And the county also has a deputy that does a lot of patrolling through there. And then I just wanted to point out, we have a volunteer in the Sand Dune State Forest that helps us out a ton. He's kind of our eyes. He has full contact with our conservation officer all the time, and he will go out there and pick up trash and take it to the landfill on his own dime. So he was given an award in 2023, and he continues to do his work, and it helps us out a ton. And there's also the backcountry horsemen that do a lot of volunteer work out there, and the Sherburne Snowmobile Club. And every year we hold an annual public meeting to basically inform the public of what has been done recently and what is going to be done out in the sand dunes, and it gives the people that attend the meeting an opportunity to give us any comments or ask questions. And each division is represented at this meeting. We don't have a date set this year, but it's usually mid-March to early April. It'll be an evening at the Big Lake Middle School. But yeah, we have representatives from every division there, and after the 15 to 20 minute presentation in the beginning, it's time for questions, and then the divisions will have a station, and anybody that wants to come and talk to us individually are able to. So that's my presentation, so any questions?
All right, thank you. A very good presentation. Any questions?
Yes, Madam
Yes,
Chair. How
Commissioner
does
Felber.
the paper on top of the pine, what does that do to keep the deer off of it?
So it protects the terminal bud.
Just the terminal bud?
Yep, so the deer can browse on the side of it, and it's no problem. And in the spring, that terminal bud will grow through the paper, and that gives it another chance to survive. And during the growing season, there's plenty of other food for the deer to eat, so they don't touch them during the green season.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I do want to say it is hard to see that picture of the debris that gets left behind. I know that there's probably a lot of, to my understanding, a good amount of homeless that do find that area and find it a place to stay for a while.
Yes.
But it is hard to see that when that's just a disrespect to the environment.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that update. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for everything you do. Next up on the agenda, we'll be receiving an update on the Sherburne County History Center. And we're going to receive that from Amber Latanzio.
Latanzio.
Okay, I was somewhat close. All right, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, so I'm Amber Latanzio. I'm the new hire as Executive Director at the Sherburne History Center. And I'm about 6 weeks in today, actually. And so that's newness. I do actually live in Stillwater. I do know that it is a hike, but I don't mind it. A lot of people ask me, like, oh, that's quite a drive. I do not mind. So a few things that I wanted to start doing is getting school programs in. And so I've been working with the mayor, and then we're going to actually have a meeting with the principal tomorrow about getting field trips going. So every Friday, for about 30 minutes, we're going to have about 30 students come in, and it'll be like a, how do you call it, a quarterly program with different historical relevance that gets children outside. So it is part of the not keeping kids indoors. And so that'll be neat. And then at the end of it all, it's going to be a big event with 200 students there. So a big cumulative event on everything that has been learned. That is a process in the making so far. So I'll have more details as they come. Another thing that people may have noticed is the gallery space is 20 years old. That was put together in May of 2006. So we're a little overdue to change it. But one of the problems with that is the murals on the wall, they're pretty fixed. And so some of the artifacts that go in there, it's kind of hard to switch it out when it doesn't make sense with what's on the walls. And so working to make that a little more neutral and a little more change-out friendly. And one of the ideas that has been floating around is to make it kind of the transportation, the history and timeline of transportation. So from the ox cart trails to the railroads, and then eventually the highways that came in, most particularly Highway 10 and the Bailey's gas station, which is on site. We have it at the museum. And that's where the Black Bear Johnny would be sitting there. And then if you give him money, he would go and drink a grape soda at the top of the station. So that's a pretty prominent part of the history. That's a fun little anecdote. And then this will make each town in Sherburne County highlighted in the gallery if we go forward with this plan. So along the trail, we can have each panel that represent each town. And then each artifact that represents can be highlighted and then changed out a lot easier, so that way we don't have to wait 20 years for the next newness to happen. Yeah, there's that. I'm losing my train of thought here, sorry. Membership. So I'm also working to change up the membership tiers a little bit and trying to get more retention happening with individuals, and that would come with programs that are more adult-friendly. Right now, it's a lot of family-friendly, but not much for different groups of people. So I'm trying to include those narratives in that as well. And this one's very short and sweet, as, like I said, I am 6 weeks in. But these are some of the things that are taking off right now.
Well, thank you so much, and welcome to your 6 weeks in.
Thank you.
In the Sherburne History Center. Are there any questions? I did have one. I know that you mentioned, I love the idea that you want to incorporate the kids at the schools and field trips and stuff. Are you going to go greater than just the city of Becker that houses the History Center? Are you going to contact the other school districts in the county?
I would like to eventually. So this upcoming April and May is when we're going to do like a beta trial run to see how the program goes. And that'll be one session of different students, and then by the end, we'll see how to grow that. And then this kind of trial run in April, May, will be like, what can we improve on? How do we make this better and get more students interested? And kind of, it's a trial run, and then by the end of it, if the first year goes really well, then we can look at branching out.
Okay, yeah, I like hearing that because I think we always need to remember that it is the Sherburne History Center. It is located in Becker, but it serves the Sherburne County in its whole. So let's not forget that to include the rest of the communities.
And that's why partially I would like to see the gallery change to reflect a little bit of that as well. That way each town can have some of their artifacts and their narrative told in the same history center.
Yeah, yep. Well, thank you very much.
Just, I would like to mention, you guys
Commissioner
did a
Felber.
bang-up job on the candlelight walk, everyone involved.
Yeah, those are great opportunities to get the whole of the county.
So the candlelight walk was thanks to our program coordinator, Emma. She set that together, and then I believe it was the Boy Scouts who put up all those luminaries.
Yeah,
And so I think they did a lovely job.
yeah.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up on our agenda is to consider approval of a letter to Vanco 2 in response to a certificate of need request pursuant to Minnesota statutes 115A.917. Dave?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. So Vanco 2 is an existing landfill in Becker Township. They are currently permitted to accept for disposal industrial solid waste and construction and demolition waste. They have informed staff of their intentions to permit and construct an MSW landfill. So in accordance with Minnesota statutes 115A.919, Vanco must first obtain a certificate of need from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. The CON process requires that Vanco obtain letters from Minnesota counties referencing the amount of MSW generated that they intend to accept for disposal. Vanco intends to submit their CON request along with the county's letter to the MPCA, while also soliciting other counties for similar letters. Please note that on July 18th, 2024, the county board then approved Vanco 2's request for CON, but that letter was rejected by the MPCA because the agency stated it did not meet Minnesota rules requirements. So Vanco then has revised their letter, working with the county as well, and that template is what is in your packet for consideration. So Eric Olson is here to answer any questions you may have for Vanco. With that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
Nope, it looks like they got plenty of space out there.
Yep.
Last time I was out.
And just for clarification and going through the information, are they only dealing with one hauler at the moment? They reference one hauler.
Correct, yes.
And that's the one that they're going to, that they figure they're going to get all of their municipal waste needs met in regards to their assumptions.
It will be a start for them to submit their CON request.
Okay,
And then they will be working with other haulers,
Okay.
I presume, correct, Eric? And other counties for similar letters.
All right, that was my question was, will they be looking for other haulers to be involved as well? Perfect, thank you. All right, if there are no questions, then I'd be looking for a motion to approve the letter to Vanco 2 in response to a certificate of need request.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Felber. Seconded by Commissioner Hulls. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda is to consider the approval of a resolution number 010626-AD-3261 to acquire property for the County Highway 80 Improvement Project. Dave?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Happy 2026. I'm here to talk about the reconstruction project of County Road 80 from CASA 5 to CASA 3. Interestingly enough, this is one of our two remaining gravel roads, a portion of this that we're going to be paving. And so we're currently at the point in our design where we are ready to request acquisition of approximately 32 parcels on the project. I want to emphasize, as part of our design team works very hard at trying to minimize impacts to property. So I just want to, when we see 32 parcels, they're affected by acquiring the right-of-way, but we minimize impacts. So, and with that, I would request approval of the resolution to acquire property on County Road 80.
All right, thank you for that update. Is there any questions of Dave?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
these are going to be
Commissioner
100-foot easements?
Easement, so with the reconstruction project, we go from a 33-foot right-of-way to a 50-foot right-of-way.
Yep, okay, just making sure.
All right, any other questions?
Bruce.
Whoop, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Just want to clarify, you said acquiring 32 parcels. You don't mean the full parcels?
So, yes, my apologies, yeah, we no longer acquire in fee title, we acquire in permanent easement. So it's an easement acquisition of the 50-foot, 33-foot prescriptive existing, and then another 17-foot of permanent easement.
And then as part of that, does that include temporary construction easements, or is that all permanent easements?
There will be a handful of temporary easements that will be associated with the project.
That are included in those 32, or
That are
those would be in
included in
addition?
those 32, correct. That is the total number of permanent easement and temporary easement acquisitions.
All right.
Thank you for that request for clarification on that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for that clarification. Any further questions? If not, then I'd be looking for a motion to approve the resolution number 010626-AD-3261, authorizing the acquisition of property for County Road 80.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gray and a second by Commissioner Schumacher. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Okay, that motion carries. 4 in favor, 1 against.
And then, Madam Chair, may I ask a follow-on subsequent question?
Yes.
You mentioned one of 2 remaining gravel roads. What will be the last gravel
The
road?
last one is County Road 127.
And what's the plan for that one?
That will be, that's a 2029 reconstruction project, and so that will be paving that as well.
And we don't maintain a gravel grader for that road. You contract that out to the township, is that right?
We have a gravel grader that we are currently, that we blade those
So,
periodically.
so once we're out of the business, we can get rid of that grader or repurpose it?
We'll repurpose it. We do have the need occasionally to maintain that grader, so it won't be entirely out of use for the 2 roads that we have. So we do some minor grading work, sometimes shoulder grading that we need a grader for. So we'll probably maintain that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda is consider the approval of resolution number 010626-AD-3262 to acquire property for the County Highway 94 Improvement Project.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. We are currently working on the reconstruction project for County Road 94 from CASA 15 to County Road 32, and we're at the point where we need to acquire permanent easements for the project. There's 30 parcels that are affected by the easement acquisition, and we respectfully request approval of the resolution to acquire the right-of-way, the easement, on County Road 94.
Right, any questions for Dave? All right, seeing none, then I'd be looking for that motion to approve the acquisition needs for the County State Aid Highway 94.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Schumacher. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Nay.
That motion carries. 4 in favor, 1 against.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Next item on our agenda is to consider the approval of awarding bids for 2026 official county publications. Sherilyn.
Good morning, Madam
Good
Chair,
morning.
and members of the board. Thank you. I'm here on behalf of Lorraine Rupp. Annually, we are required to go out and with an advertisement for bids for publishing our official county notifications. The advertise for bids was published, and we were required to receive bids until 4:30 PM on Thursday, December 18th, at which point we had received 2 bids. Those bids were opened, and the calculations were done to determine the cost per inch of each of the official county notices that we are required to publish. And I am here to present those findings to you. We will go through the 4 different required publications, and each one will need to be addressed and awarded individually. The first item is our delinquent tax list. We received a bid from the Patriot News at $3.35 per inch. We received a bid from the Elk River Star News at $3.49 per inch. Our recommendation is to award it to Patriot News at $3.35 per inch. I'd like to present that to the board. Would like the board's any comments or considerations or?
All right, any questions on the delinquent tax listing? Recommendation to approve it to the Patriot News.
Motion to approve that?
We have a motion by Commissioner Schumacher
Second.
and a second by Commissioner Felber. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you. The second item is our annual financial statement. The Patriot News presented a bid of $21 per inch. The Elk River Star News presented a bid of $12 per inch. We are recommending awarding the financial statement to the Elk River Star News. I'd like to present that to the board for their consideration or any comments.
Any questions? If not, I'd be looking for the motion to approve the financial statement to Elk River Star News.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hulls and a second by Commissioner Gray. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you. The next required notification is our alternate public financial statement. The Elk River Star News did not submit a bid for this item. Patriot News, again, is at a cost of $21 per inch. So I'd recommend awarding to the Patriot News, presenting to the board for their approval.
If there are no questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the Patriot News as the alternate publication for the financial statement.
So move.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gray and a second by Commissioner Hulls. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you. The last item is our publication of the commissioners' proceedings. The Patriot News presented us with a bid of $3.15 per inch. The Elk River Star News presented a bid of $3.24 per inch. Our recommendation is to award to the Patriot News. I'd like to present to the board for their recommendation or approval.
Any questions? Hearing none. I'd be looking for a motion then to approve the Commissioner Proceedings Award to the Patriot News.
Make a motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schumacher and a second by Commissioner Felber. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you. Are there any other questions regarding the publications at all?
Any other questions? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is to consider, discuss, and approve the 2026 regular meeting schedule for the County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner now you're elected. Administrator Messel.
Everything changes in 2026.
There we go. I like that. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. You have before you the proposed calendar for meetings in 2026. Keisha put this together before she took her leave, so we've discussed this a couple of times. I think it meets all of your criteria. I would note Just a couple things for board consideration. We do have a couple of evening meetings in here, which has been a board practice. We've accommodated both the NACO and the NACO, NACO Legislative Conference as well as the annual summer conference for the schedule. And we do have July as kind of the that one meeting timeframe. So with that, we would just entertain the board's discussion on this and approval. What we do is by state statute, you set your regular meeting agenda once, and then we don't have to publish every time you have a meeting for your regular agenda. And then as part of that, this year, we will also note on the regular meeting agenda that up to 4 commissioners may attend remotely, and that's by statute. So then we don't have to do special meeting notices should your schedules require you to be away from a regular meeting, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, any discussion on the proposed 26 board meeting schedule?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Halls.
one question. So in June, what's the reason for skipping the 3rd Tuesday and going to the 4th Tuesday?
To accommodate for July. So what we do is we stretch out June so that you don't have a huge time frame in July.
In July because of the.
Yeah, and that allows us, especially for paying the bills, as much as Sherburne likes to hold off on paying them. It gives us a little bit, so it's almost like a 3-week, and then you'll notice it's a 2-week and then a 3-week. So that's the idea there.
And then which dates are the evening meetings?
I'll have to go back and pull them for
It's
you.
April 7th and October 6th.
There you go, thanks. Greg's faster than me.
And just,
I wrote it down, so I remember.
And then the December is an evening meeting with Truth and Taxation,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, this reflects last year's meeting
Yep.
schedule.
Yeah, we basically don't have a Q1 evening meeting, and you guys did that just simply because we have the organizational meeting and it takes a little while to get going. But yeah, so it's April and then October and then December.
Do we still find value in the evening meetings?
I do.
Okay, just throwing the
It's-
question out there.
I think it's just because it gives people the opportunity. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all going to show up here, but it does mean that it's easier for people who work during the daytime to watch it at home.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, if I had today off, I certainly would not have come down here to watch this meeting unless I was like on the board or had specific business. Today was not a great day to travel, so, you know.
I just wanted the question broached, that's all.
Yep.
And just so I make sure I'm reading this correctly, it's 2 regular board meetings in an evening, and then the Truth and Taxation is the 3rd, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yep.
Madam
In-
Chairwoman,
Yes, Commissioner Schumacher.
still doing, if the meeting ends up being remote, it's still roll call vote. That protocol didn't change in 26, did it?
Right, by statute, if anybody's remote, the rules are pretty established. You can be seen and, you must be seen and heard, and you must see and hear. You no longer have to be in a public location, but we do require an individual roll call vote on each item.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, then I'd be looking for a motion to approve the 2026 calendar board meetings as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls and seconded by Commissioner Felver. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
And then I would just note, as a postmortem to that, when we post, we also, assuming you take the same actions for the Regional Rail Authority and the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, we post the identical calendar, which means you're allowed to have those meetings if needed on those dates, again, avoiding a special meeting posting. And so you'll have those 2 actions subsequent. Thank you.
Right, thank you. All right, moving on, next up on the agenda is the consider modifications to the conditional use permit for farm-related business, the wine bar in Carol Zimmerman. Lynn?
And just to jump in before Lynn starts, just want to note for the board that we did receive, and some of you may have received very late, a couple of emails that came in. Staff's review of those are that it resubmits a neighborhood petition that was unsolicited but submitted earlier in the process. So we don't find anything new, substantially new or beneficial from the resubmittal or the email that came with it. But we do want to note for the board that you did receive those. You are not obligated to reconsider that information since it's not new, but I would ask the board whether you considered anything you saw in the last 24 hours new or substantive. Otherwise, we would just note that you did receive an additional copy and opinions from a few folks regarding that earlier citizens petition.
In answer to Bruce's question, yes, I did receive 2 emails, and I did not see anything that was vastly different than previous comments. Everybody else agree?
Same for me, yep.
Got 2 and didn't read them, sent them, forwarded them.
Didn't read them.
All right. Commissioner Hollis?
And I did receive them, and I agree, it was reiterating previous information.
Okay. All right, so Lynn,
Good morning, Commissioners.
good morning.
So this item was discussed at the county board meeting on December 16th, and the board directed planning and zoning staff to discuss conditions and relook at conditions 7, 8, 13, and 14, and obtain a business log from the applicant, which we did receive, and to bring back recommendations for language changes and clarification. And in addition to that, we also modified findings number 1 and 5. So in your packet, you will see that on condition number 7, staff is recommending that you add, based on what the board had asked us, to number 7, that additional parking area created without permits must be removed and returned to vegetation, that be a condition, that, or added to number 7. Condition number 8, we are recommending that you add everyone except the property owners and their adult children who are employed by Boulder Creek Wine Bar must leave the property no later than 15 minutes after the hours listed above. And those hours and days of operation are 2 weekends a month, the first and the third weekend, Memorial Day weekend through the first weekend in October. Permitted hours of operation are from noon to 6 p.m. on Fridays, and Saturdays from noon to 6 on Fridays and Saturdays, and from noon to 6 on Sundays. So that
Brian?
was the proposed change there.
Brian, would you scroll down? I think it's page 154 in the online, but try it and see if it comes up for you. Yep, there you go. Go down to the highlighted. There you go. Thank
Just-
you.
Madam Chair, just a clarification, it's noon to 5 on Sundays.
Correct. Did I say 6? Sorry.
Yep.
Yep. And then condition number 13, we crossed that one off, and instead we were going to go with the language of the permit holder is allowed to a maximum of 1 sign located on the property. The sign must be non-illuminated, no more than 12 square feet in size, and located outside of the public right-of-way. No other advertisements, including but not limited to signs, flags, or banners, are allowed on the property. And then finally, number 14, we added at the very end, or their adult children, so the statement will now say, there may be no employees other than residents of the property or their adult children. And then under the findings, we amended findings number 1 and 5, and onto both of those, we added the following statement. The amendments to conditions 7, 8, 13, and 14 address violations of the existing conditional use permit, ensure that use of the property is limited to minimize its impact on neighboring properties, and provide benchmarks if additional enforcement steps are required. So those are the changes that we made, and we are bringing back for your consideration today.
All right, are there any questions for Lynn on the proposed amendments?
Commentary.
Pardon?
That part was good. Madam Chairwoman, thank you.
Commissioner Schumacher?
I did meet with Lynn and Dan regarding because I had mentioned in the last meeting in December that there was 3 items that Santiago had said, but after review and research, we had only encumbered that there were 2. And so those 2 items were addressed in this part of the conditions. That was he reiterated back in December, but there's clarification that it was only 2 items that the Santiago Town Board Supervisor at that meeting had said. And so we did do some homework and research to figure that out.
And just a procedural note, you called for questions to Lynn. If you're going to have discussions, then after asking Lynn questions, it would be better if you had a motion and a second to do something before. You weren't discussing the actual changes, so it's fine. But I just note again procedurally, motion and a second to either, approve or deny or whatever you do, then have your formal discussion.
Any other questions for Lynn?
When this original permit was what, 5/23 or some, 5/26?
I believe 23.
Okay. And the violations that you have documented are started when?
I believe it was in 24 and 25 when we were writing letters,
Okay.
off the top of my head.
All right.
All right, any other questions? If not, we have 3 actions that are before us to decide on which ones to do. And I would be looking for a motion on how we want to proceed forward.
Madam Chairwoman?
Yes, Commissioner Schumacher.
I make a motion to approve the modifications as presented on line items number 7, 8, 13, and 14.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Commissioner Hall seconds. Now we'll open it for discussion.
Madam Chair, just a real quick question. Can I clarify for the maker of the motion that that also includes the modifications to the findings of fact for findings of fact number 5 and what was the other one? 1.
You're good with that?
Accepted as friendly.
Is that accepted by the seconder?
Accepted as a friendly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, now discussion. Hearing,
Madam Chair,
Are you gonna have?
Thinking.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I'll start out with, I have concerns about this. I mean, the vast majority of these that we pass, IUPs, CUPs, we never hear from them again. So the fact that this keeps coming back before us, to me, indicates that this is simply not a business that fits into a general rural residential type neighborhood. Simply.
any other discussion?
Well, I think
Senator
it's
Gray.
pretty evident that through the course of time, I've not been real big favor of this, considering that this is as far away from an agricultural business as you could possibly get. We were presented with their log that they kept. I'm not sure what a slushy is in a wine bar or a Frosty, but we got that. But this log is only for 2025, Lynn?
My understanding, correct.
So nothing was presented for 23 or 24.
I'm not sure that we asked specifically for those years. We asked for the past year, I believe.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And then the other thing, couple of points. We've read this packet multiple times. And since I've read it multiple times, I always find different things. But under their plan, their business plan, they said neighborhood relations. We plan to maintain an open line of communication with our neighbors and address any concerns promptly and professionally. I think in this situation, we're long beyond that. In one of their letters, came from the attorney back, what page was that on? Let me find the right one here.
It's hard to sort through. It's long.
But violations started in 23 and 24, right?
We've had continual concerns about this ongoing.
Ongoing, okay, ongoing. Let me just find their attorney's letter.
Madam Chair, if I may, while Commissioner Gray is looking up that reference, perhaps the zoning administrator could look for the first date of any violation letter, just so that it's specific in the record.
As you can tell, our packet was 500 and some pages long. I probably should have wrote it down, but I didn't. There were two letters written by their attorney from Greenstein and Sellers. One of them states flat out, and I quote, "Boulder Creek continues to respect the restrictions of the CUP and has not, to date, violated the CUP." And this letter was dated August 13, 2025, correct?
Correct.
And violations started in 23 and 24 and 25, early 25.
Yeah, we have violation letters that I show here were sent on September 6th of 2024. I believe that was the first violation letter. There were also issues with them not obtaining their Minnesota Department of Public Safety liquor license and the Sherburne County liquor license
Okay.
in '23.
So their attorney states flat out that they have not violated anything, which is a gray area for us in consideration that we have. The county has stated violations. I mean, this is still a bar in a residential area. I still feel that way. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Another one of the violations I found that I picked up on, they had a sip and shop on December 3rd. It clearly states in the CUP that they're through Memorial Day, right?
Correct, and I believe that was in '24 that occurred.
Okay, but it still states,
Correct. They weren't to have any other activities other than what was specifically listed in the conditional use permit.
And just for correction, I think you meant to say Labor Day?
I think,
Labor Day in the fall, correct?
Labor Day, yeah, okay, excuse me, yep. You know, I mean, I just feel strongly that this is a wrong business, even though I'm supportive of small businesses, you know, on personal people's property, but this is still a business that belongs in a commercial area if they're just gonna be selling wine. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this for I have to admit, ask the attorney from, you are present here again today. Yes or no, did you read the condition, the use permit? Have you read through it completely, yes or no?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Do I need to be in front of a mic?
Madam Chair, I just want to clarify, they're allowed to operate through the first weekend in October.
Right.
October specifically,
So
starting
their
in
first one
Memorial
was
Weekend.
December 3rd.
Correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm just pointing out some stuff after you've read this, through this packet 3, 4, 5 times, you get to pick up on other little things that are out there. But no, I think if we, you know, we're rewarding them for bad behavior, and unless we put something in there that states if they violate this again, it's over with, that's the way I feel.
May I clarify with Commissioner?
Yes, please.
Gray? Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Gray, is your position that there are, am I hearing that what you're saying is that there may be language or conditions that you would be satisfied with in order to prevent those issues going forward?
Satisfied is a strong word, I don't know, but I mean, there has to be something else in there, I think, in regards to it. Obviously, their log is not what I expected. I think that we didn't put specifics in there enough on number 16. I hate to go against our Planning and Zoning Commission, respect their work, and they're all basically township individuals that are on that board. This sits right in the middle of a township. That's my stance on this.
Okay. Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Hulls.
I think, from my perspective, there are significant concerns, obviously, within this, within the operations of this wine bar and within, you know, where it's located in the neighborhood. Now, that being said, my concern is I don't think I'm not trying to point fingers here, but to Commissioner Felber's point, normally we issue an IUP or a CUP and we never, you know, it's not an issue. My concern as we've sat through this and it's come back to us a number of times, the opinion that I have formed is that the original the original permit did not have the specificity to be able to enforce it correctly. And so, under normal circumstances, that may or may not be a requirement. I'm sympathetic, frankly, to both sides of the argument on this, in that as a county, we have allowed a business to start. Right. I'm not sure that the requirements that were laid out were specific enough for us to enforce that would hold up in a court of law. That's my concern. Maybe, but maybe not. The neighborhood, as I read through the comments from the neighborhood, there are very strong opinions, but there were also neighbors that were just as close that said they don't understand what the issue was. Both of which were relatively close to this property. My concern is if we pull the permit now, I personally think that we could have been more specific on the requirements. And I think the proper path forward is to put these very specific requirements in. We enforce these specific requirements, because we've specified the parking, who's allowed to park there, that it is the total number of cars, does not include employees, exactly when those cars need to leave. I guess my point is that with these modifications, it provides the specifics necessary to be able to enforce it. And then if the operators cannot meet those requirements, then at that point, we've done our due diligence, we've laid out what the requirements are, and at that point, I feel like we've got our due diligence done to be able to pull the permit. However, it feels messy to me to do it based on how the language was previously written, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
Saying suspend the permit?
No, I'm not. I'm saying we
It's rewritten?
I'm saying that we modify it as recommended, and if you want to put some language in there on reinforcement, I would be open to that. For example, one of the violations was, and I don't know if this was one of the written violations or if this was one that was just brought up in the discussion, but it was the closing time was at 6 o'clock. The last car left at 6:20 something. The CUP didn't specify what time the cars had to leave. It specified what time the bar was supposed to close. Now we've put a requirement in there: the bar has to close by this time, and the cars have to leave by such and such time. So I feel like if we make these modifications, what we have to do then is we have to make sure we are enforcing those modifications. And like you said, if you wanted to add some language around that on enforcement, on whatever that might be, I'm fine with that. I think we're just now, though, getting to the specificity that we need.
Yes.
Just a couple of quick comments. First of all, you know, as was noted earlier, typically land use decisions are not as detailed as contractual agreements, and you don't have problems with those. So the more specific we get is probably indicative of something, you know, going on there. But that being said, the board always has the authority with a violation of a CUP to consider revocation. I guess if you want us to go back and research additional enforcement language, we can. But under statute, if they violate a CUP, it is the board's authority to revoke it.
And
So I'm not, you know, again, if the direction of the board today is go back and add some sort of enforcement language, I know Don will work on it with Lynn, but it's probably not a requirement.
I would not think that that would be necessary. We've clarified with these proposed amendments before us to tighten it, and anything beyond this going forward, if it were to land back on our table again, as per Administrator Messel's comment, that would be one of the proposed recommendations, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know,
Madam Chair, if I can, I mean,
Commissioner
it's in
Kemper?
all of them. In here, it's 17 and 18. The applicant shall maintain compliance with all local, state, and federal laws. Number 18, excessive noise, glare, odors, traffic, or other nuisances. I mean, and obviously, that's extremely broad. But it says may be justification for the county to revoke or modify terms of the CUP. So I don't think we need any other enforcement language in there. I mean, it's right there. And obviously, we have the choice, revoke or modify. So, you know, and we've had that, but I will add, I don't want to do this again.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would like one note of clarification. On condition number 7, I did notice that, you know, where we added the statement, additional parking area created without permits must be removed and returned to vegetation. I would like a date added to the end of that to make sure that that's clear if this gets passed, that they have to remove that area and have vegetation in place, whether you want to make that June 1st prior to opening, July 1st, doesn't matter, but I think if we have something that's very clear on that, we won't run into issues if you choose to approve this.
We have an attorney that's jumping out of his seat to make a comment.
And Madam Chair, you can choose to call upon him if you wish. It is not a public hearing. It's not required. That's certainly your purview.
I think for that, if we are going to modify it, it might be like seeded or changed to, I mean, obviously, if they chose to change it to an agricultural production zone, you know, and put more vines in that space or gardening, but I don't, it just takes so long to grow grass in the, so maybe it's a seeding type thing, or, you know, rather than it's got to be vegetation. I mean, I don't know how we specify
Well,
that.
I think vegetation is, if they choose to do some more vines, that's, you know, as
Right,
long
yeah,
as
I'm
it's
just
not a
saying,
parking lot,
but it has,
so
I don't expect to
I
see
don't want to get
grass there
that
in
nitty
July.
gritty.
Right, I just want a date of when they have to remove the parking lot area and try to put something in there so that we
Okay.
don't run into, I was gonna get to that in the fall and I didn't, it doesn't have a specific date, so I was just looking for that clarification.
And my assumption is when you're going to do something of that nature, you will cordon off that area to protect whatever it
I would
is that
imagine.
you've done.
Yep,
So I think June 1st, in my opinion, sounds like a reasonable timeframe to take care of that.
okay, so we'll add no later than June 1st to the end of the proposal on number 7, please.
We'll need.
Take
we'll
that
need
as a
the
friendly
maker-
amendment.
We'll need the maker and the seconder to add that as a friendly amendment then.
Just did.
Commissioner Schumacher is okay with that added friendly amendment. Commissioner Hulls?
I'm fine with that as my second, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, again, it was up to you if you wish to call upon the individuals that are the permit holders.
I think that I think everybody's had enough bites at the apple to move forward without further comment beyond our board discussion. Everybody fine with that?
I'm fine with that.
Good.
Just under number 16, if we're under friendly amendments, and this is going to be classified as an agricultural business in a residential area, as included into the log of activities on site that includes dates, times, and number of guests, which are fine. I would like to know production numbers, amount grown, and the like, if they're going to be producing that.
And Commissioner Gray, can I ask, can you elaborate on what's the basis for why it is you would be seeking that additional information, or how that additional information's
Well, it's supposed to be an
lacking and
agricultural-
relevant?
It's an agricultural business. You should be growing something on your property in regards to it, to produce that wine.
Question for the zoning administrator, if I may. Under what classification was this permit granted?
I believe it's under farm-related business.
And does farm-related business make that kind of a requirement?
The farm-related business language states that it has to be either a locally grown agricultural commodity, or it could also be grown on site, but I think they could purchase it from something that was locally grown.
I think the other challenge you're going to have with modifying it is the statute that allows you to modify it, there has to be some rational nexus for the modification. I'm not sure that that's been drawn in the record at this particular time.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and I think as Lynn stated, that it reads that locally grown is kind of that. Not necessarily has to be vines on their property that produce grapes. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I would call the question in regards to accepting the modifications as presented, along with the friendly amendments that were added to the conditions. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
All right, that motion carries. 3 in favor, 2 against. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Next item on our agenda is we will recess this regular meeting and open the Regional Rail Authority meeting. All right.
Motion to approve the regional rail agenda?
Commissioner Felber moves to approve the regular meeting agenda, and Commissioner Schumacher seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the election of the 2026 officers for the Regional Rail Authority. Administrator Messel.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Typically, what the Regional Rail Authority does is just mirror the chair and vice chair of the County Board of Commissioners. So the recommendation would just be to move in second that the chair and vice chair of the Regional Rail Authority be the same as the county board.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Felber to appoint the chair and the vice chair as the Regional Authority chair and vice chair.
I second that.
All right, so we have a second by Commissioner Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Here comes the bus and you are under it. There we go.
Don't you mean the
It's a
train?
really tough assignment.
Don't you mean the train?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't, that's mean.
All right. Okay, next item on the agenda is to consider the approval of the official minutes from December 16th, 2025.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hulls and a second by Commissioner Felber. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next item is to establish the 2026 Regional Rail Authority meeting schedule. Mr. Messel.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Again, the meeting schedule for the Regional Rail Authority is recommended to be that of the County Board of Commissioners' regular meeting schedule.
All right. I'd be looking for a motion to approve the Regional Rail Authority meeting schedule for 2026.
So move. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Schumacher. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. And we will, looking for a motion to set the next annual meeting of the Regional Rail Authority as January 5th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls, second by Commissioner Schumacher. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. At this time, I will adjourn the Regional Rail Authority meeting and reconvene our regular meeting to then turn around and recess our regular meeting and now open the Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting. I'd be looking for a motion to approve the agenda of the regional housing meeting.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Moving on to regular agenda, we'll have the election of the 2026 officers for the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Mr. Messold.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Annually, the Housing and Redevelopment Authority elects its chair and vice chair. Recommended is that the chair and vice chair of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority be the same as that of the County Board of Commissioners.
All right, but he's looking for a motion then to appoint the chair and the vice chair of the county board to be the chair and the vice chair of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Schumacher,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Now I'll be looking to consider the approval of the official minutes from April 15th, 2025 of the regular meeting of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls, seconded by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. And now we will be looking at review and approving the 2026 Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting schedule. Mr. Messold.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the authority. The recommendation is that the Housing and Redevelopment Authority adopt the same calendar as that of the County Board of Commissioners.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Hulls
Second.
and a second by Commissioner Felber to accept the annual meeting of the Housing Redevelopment Authority as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next up, we'll be looking for a motion to set the next annual meeting of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority for January 5th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls, seconded by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. At this time, I'll adjourn the Housing and Redevelopment Authority and open up our regular meeting.
And Madam Chair, members of the commission, with the board's permission, I think Brian and I got this a little bit out of order. Typically, you'll finish your regular business meeting and then go into workshop. So with the board's permission, you can move item 12 to the end and go through and adjourn the meeting and then open the workshop. That'll allow for the community to hear commissioner correspondence and committee reports. At that point, for workshops, we don't continue broadcasting. So I would recommend, if you're okay, just to modify the agenda and go to commissioner correspondence committee reports first before adjourning.
Do you need a
Do we
motion?
need a motion?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Just motion to amend the agenda
All
to
right.
move the workshops to the following the adjournment of the meeting.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion
15, second.
by Commissioner Hulls and a second by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. So now we will be looking at doing the commissioner correspondence and our committee reports at this time.
Holy buckets.
I will start with Commissioner Gray.
Oh, yeah, I kind of figured that.
I know that guy.
I went off the grid right before Christmas, so I didn't do a whole lot, to be honest with you there. I did the holiday luncheon for staff on the 18th, which I thought was great. I think we had an enormous turnout. What was it, final number? Over 400? Almost 500 people. Yeah,
Outstanding.
I think we ran out of food. We had to order more food for the night shift. So it was fun. We ran out of pop. We figured out they drink a lot of Diet Dr. Pepper, Code Red, and what was the other one?
Regular Dr. Pepper.
regular Dr. Pepper. And water. We ran out of that. The rest of them, we didn't, but I thought that was great. And then I did the MDT meeting on the 18th also. That's all I did, and then I'm here.
All righty. Commissioner Holmes?
Yeah, same thing. So it was a relatively quiet period, although we did have our county EDA meeting on the 18th, and then and that was really the last of the meetings for the year. So I just want to welcome everybody back for 2026.
Yep. Commissioner Felber?
Okay, so on 12/16, I did the Great River Regional Library executive meeting. Probably the big thing out of that is that we are concerned about what's going on with the Big Lake Library. More to come on that later. 12/17, Renewable Energy Roundtable in Minneapolis. This was 8 hours that I went down there, and the discussion was primarily about all about biogas, the different types of biogas production that's coming out and that can be used for power. One of the most interesting things there, I mean, I got 8 hours of notes, but we're not going to cover them. So one of the most interesting things I thought there is that on some of these large dairy farms that are close enough to a pipeline or to a place they can put it, they're actually putting biogas production facilities on the dairy farm itself. You know, so you're talking about dairy farms that are milking 1,400 cows. And, you know, that allows them, the one that specifically talked, they would process the biogas on the farm and then truck it into town and pump it into the pipeline, the purified gas. So, I mean, this just points to a lot of the other things we're working on. We need to maintain this type of gas production, this type of energy production past the 2040 sunset. 12/18, we did Tri-County Solid Waste. We got a lot going on there, tipping fees going up, a lot of questions on that. We're going to be working on some future programming for that. I'm trying to be a little bit short here. Solid Waste Working Group. We did meet with the Solid Waste Working Group. You know, worked on a prioritization of policies, e-waste and battery project stewardship. And then the solid waste districts are a big issue, working on that. Emerging technologies, which includes biogas, biochar, so on and so forth. I did go to the History Center Candlelight Walk, which was fantastic. That's not really a job, that's just fun. But it's a great, it is a great event. I sat through an MPCA waste permitting training. I finished up my Leading on Purpose program. Got that all done. And then I did some more reading on data centers and Generation 4 and 5 nuclear power plants. And one thing I would like to see a workshop on, I'd already talked to Commissioner Musselt earlier about making sure that our NGO partners or our nonprofit partners, you know, aren't getting hoodwinked in these deals where they end up being the fraud affecting them. And I know we have folks working on that. I feel our stuff is very solid, and I don't know where the holes are, but we're going to take a better look at it. Another thing I would like to do in some sort of workshop is consider a resolution of support for working with ICE. The Attorney General of the state of Minnesota has issued an opinion that sheriffs can't necessarily do this on their own, so that a county board would have to do it, and I would like to make sure that we absolutely positively give support to our staff that they can do that, because there's no reason that we should be not supporting law enforcement in every way possible. And then that's it, which is less time than I usually take up.
I was just going to say, if you think that there is anything that you want to share with us in regards to a larger, by all means, email it to Mr. Messelt, and he can get it to us. So if you think there's anything that you want,
But we should just have a little workshop about that, because we can't really move ahead without doing that.
All right.
That's what I thought.
Okay. I'm talking about just all of your updates, anything that you think that we could garner more information out of.
Yeah, when I get that stuff from the biogas, I'll send it all to you.
Perfect. All right.
The whole 8 hours of slides you can go through.
Woohoo! All right. Okay, Commissioner Schumacher.
Thank you. I started off with the Rum River Watershed meeting. I did the MDT meeting with Commissioner Gray. It was very good. I enjoy going to those meetings, which we'll talk about here shortly after this. Working on the 249th Township Road snowmobile issue, still ongoing. City of Princeton correspondence over a utility sale. The holiday luncheon, it was fantastic. I got a really great photo. I want to thank Dave Unzi for making my Christmas card photo that afternoon. That was pretty well. I flew out of the St. Cloud Sky Central Airport. I want to just say that when I flew out to leave from St. Cloud to Mesa, the flight was completely full. It was, TSA was fully staffed. They got us through the system fast, and I know that it was fully used in capacity because every seat in the terminal was taken. So when it's standing room only, you know that they're filling the flight to the brim. And when I came back in on the flight, it was the same way. They were standing room only to get back on that plane to leave. So it was very positive, a lot of good movement, easy flow, easy parking, no issues at all. And so I want to just commend those guys up to St. Cloud Airport for doing a fantastic job. You know, from this seat and then also from sitting in that plane and then going through their entire process. So that was wonderful. I watched the New York mayor's inauguration, and I just want to say that rugged individualism is what makes Sherburne County great and this country amazing. I want to just say that right there, rugged individualism is what we strive for every day. I did watch the president's speech from Mar-a-Lago in Venezuela. That was very interesting. And then I did watch Governor Walz's speech that he had on his announcement to not rerun for governor. I want to echo what Congressman Emmer had said in his Twitter statement, which is good riddance. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Wait a minute,
Sorry.
you forgot North Star.
Oh, one last thing, sorry. I also did on Sunday, for work, of course, as they would say on Schitt's Creek, it should be tax deductible. But I did ride the train home from downtown to take that experience in. And that was pretty good. There was, every news organization was there. It was well covered. There was train enthusiasts that were there to shoot the final train leaving, and it was a wonderful experience. Everybody was really happy and cheerful on the train. And then I am still going to, Mr. Metzel and I had made a commitment to ride the bus down here in the month of January to go to do a tour of Avivo. We're going to go to Avivo in North Loop, and we're going to take the bus down from Elk River down to Marquette and then go through that and do a day together, which I'm really looking forward to. I made the commitment to you guys. I made the commitment on that that Zoom call that we had done with the state. So, yep, I'm still committed to do that. Yep.
All right.
Madam Chair, there was one thing I did want to add, unusual for me, I know. But
It's not for me, but for you it is.
but I did I did work a little bit with Representative Novotny. Obviously, the Minnesota paid leave law went into effect January 1st. There's a number of problems with that implementation, but one of which is when an employer is notified of an employee taking leave, it does ask about whether the employer is paying PTO or additional salaries, because that will reduce the amount paid to the non-Minnesota paid leave. However, there is not any place for an employer to indicate that that employee is on workman's comp. So consequently, the system is relying solely on the state finding out that employee is on workman's comp and receiving workman's comp compensation for missed time, and so that's a significant miss at the state level. So I'm working with him to address that.
It does require the employee to attest it, but not the employer, you're correct, yeah.
All right. I as well had very few meetings. It does get very quiet around the holiday season for any of those things, but I did attend the NACO Central Regional Zoom meeting on December 16th. I also, on the 18th, I was so sorry This is the first one I've missed for the holiday lunch, and I'm happy to hear there was a great turnout. I had 2 meetings that day that did not allow me to get back in time. The county EDA meeting, of course, in the morning was not an issue, and Commissioner Hulls gave a very good update to that meeting. And the Tri-County Solid Waste meeting up in St. Cloud, which is the one that I just could not make 2 places at once, unfortunately. And
Need to be cloned.
I know, right? And Commissioner Felber gave a good presentation and update on that. And then just did the agenda review on December 31st. So that being said, then I think we have concluded our business for our regular meeting. So at this time, I would also like to note that our next meeting is January 20th. And so I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hulls and seconded by Commissioner Schumacher. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.